imagine a child's room, what do you think of? It's the neatest room in the house, right? Of course not. When the majority of people imagine a child's room, they think toys everywhere, a playhouse in the corner, maybe even some books. Now, what do you think a child's room will look like in the future? Screens on the walls, a broken iPhone 11 on the floor, not a single written page to be seen. Over half a century ago, author Ray Bradbury showed us what he imagined a futuristic child's room would look like in his short story, The Veldt, or originally titled The World the Children Made. He imagined a room that was so lifelike you could touch the animals, or they could touch you. In the story, the house did everything for the children. And in the end, the kids locked their parents in the room with hungry lions when they suggest they go outside and play. Is Ray Bradbury correct? Is this what the world has come to? There is no denying that unrestricted use of technology has changed the way that parents interact with their children, health, and even the way that kids process and retain information. Let's look at what is happening and what we can do to solve this technological problem. First, parenting has changed in so many ways since modern technology was introduced. And sadly, many parents don't have the time to spend with their kids. So you know what they do? According to Parenting for Brain, they entertain them with time spent in front of a screen, sometimes for hours on end. The kids love it, but they don't have the self-control to limit themselves to a certain amount of time. Neither do adults. My age group has a very difficult time with this. I took a survey of 24 students, which is almost a third of my high school, as well as 24 adults on how much time they spend on their phones every day. This is not including using other electronics or listening to music. The kids spent 9.5 hours, nearly half a day, on their phones. That's 5.5 hours more than the average adult did. This is harmful in more ways than one. Health is also at risk. Screen Guide states that obsession with technology can impact overall health. Take gaming, for instance. We've all heard of the kid that doesn't leave his house just to play video games. According to the article, Will Technology Ruin Your Child's Development, found on the site Medium, it is no different from a person who broke their leg and is in a cast. Once their cast is removed, their leg is still noticeably smaller. This is because not using a muscle can actually cause the loss of said muscle. And not only are there negative effects physically, but also mentally in how they retain and process information. This is crucial for children whose minds are always growing and absorbing information. Screen Guide's article, 5 Negative Impacts of Technology in Children, said that not only does the light from the screen hurt your eyes, but the blue light that is emitted can cause the chemical release of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical that releases in the body to tell you that you're awake, and it stops releasing when the sun goes down. And we wonder why high schoolers and college students are always so tired. Well, a lot of it is actually because we go straight to a screen. According to Medium, a poll was taken of first graders over the nation. The kids who spent hours on end with their faces glued to a screen had a harder time processing and retaining information than the kids who were outside playing or coloring or reading did. Psychology Today reported in What Screen Time Can Do to Kids' Brains that child prodigies spend almost 87% less time in front of a screen than today's average kid. In addition, the same site also states that children today have such a lower reading level than pre-K kids. And this isn't the only problem. Kids are being diagnosed with disorders that weren't even a glimpse in someone's mind 7 years ago. According to the article, Will Technology Ruin Your Child's Development, found on site Medium, kids are being diagnosed with anxiety and FOMO, which means the fear of missing out. There's even something called nomophobia syndrome, which means what it sounds like. It's the fear of not having your phone on or near you. Who would have thought? We fear not having a tiny device. Now, I'm not saying all technology is bad. We can do amazing things with it. Without technology, I wouldn't be doing this speech. But it is everywhere, and we have to remember that technology does negatively affect everyone, especially children. Technology will keep advancing, and it should. However, it is very scary to think that the world that Ray Bradbury created so long ago might be coming true. But the solution is simple. Cut back technology usage, either by putting a time limit on devices and getting kids on a routine where they are active both mentally and physically. Parents also have to be adamant about staying on a routine with their children, and they will have to have more self-control to set an example for their kids. Now, I'm not saying to cut out all technology, but there is a need to limit time spent in front of a screen. On that note, let's go back to my original question. Is Ray Bradbury correct in thinking that this is where the world has come to? Hopefully, if we can limit the amount of time we spend in front of a screen, we will reduce our chances of being locked in the room. While I wouldn't mind a little help with my homework, I think Ray Bradbury can keep his lines.